Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about the Epstein case, which has been the subject of scandalous allegations by politicians and celebrities in the United States. In the United States, the names of people associated with the case of Jeffrey Epstein, the American billionaire accused of running a sexual abuse ring against girls who committed suicide while awaiting trial in prison, have been made public. Epstein's connections, involving many famous names and his suspicious death in prison, had led to much speculation and rumors. Contradictions in official statements about Epstein's death and incomplete information in the investigations also strengthened these rumors. Who is Jeffrey Epstein? Born on January 20, 1953 in Brooklyn, New York, Jeffrey Epstein is a billionaire who made his fortune in banking and finance. His mother was a housewife, and his father was a gardener for the New York City Parks Department. In 1974, Epstein began teaching physics and mathematics at the Dalton School in Manhattan, where many of the students came from the wealthiest families in the country. After being offered a job as a teacher, he worked for Bear Stearns for 4 years. In 1981, when he left the company to run his own business, the process of enrichment began. In 1988, he founded J. Epstein and Company, a consulting firm offering money management services to individuals with a net worth of over $1 billion. In addition to being a billionaire, Epstein was known for developing a social circle that included extremely wealthy individuals, prominent politicians, and even royalty. The case files of Epstein, who was accused of sexually abusing dozens of girls under the age of 18, the youngest of whom was 14, and creating a prostitution network, and who was found dead in prison while in custody, reveal details of the events. The files show that Epstein's prostitution network included Ghislaine Maxwell, Alan Dershowitz, the lawyer scheduled to defend Israel at the International Court of Justice, ICJ, modeling agency owner Jean-Luc Brunel, Prince Andrew, scientist Stephen Hawking, and many other prominent figures, and that they were complicit in Epstein's sexual abuse crimes. How did the Epstein case begin? The first case of Epstein molesting young girls dates back to 2005. When a Palm Beach woman went to the police and alleged that her 14-year-old stepdaughter had been taken to Epstein's mansion by an older girl, it was the first step in a child molestation ring case that the world has been following closely for almost 20 years. This initial 11-month investigation involving the FBI revealed that some of the alleged victims of abuse were children under the age of 18. Jeffrey Epstein was arrested in Florida, USA, in 2005 for allegedly paying a 14-year-old girl to have sex with him. Although several underage girls claimed that Epstein and his friends sexually abused them, the court found Epstein guilty of sexually abusing a single person in 2008. The billionaire received a 13-month sentence after his conviction. After New York prosecutors found Epstein guilty of creating a prostitution network in 2019, the billionaire was found dead in prison while in custody. Ghislaine Maxwell's position in the case. Epstein's ex-girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, was sentenced to 20 years in prison after being found guilty by the Manhattan District Attorney in 2021 of providing underage girls to Epstein and his friends for sexual intercourse. Throughout the Epstein trial, Maxwell engaged in a number of actions, including offering friends of Virginia Giuffre, one of the victims of the case and the main plaintiff against Epstein, money to share information that would incriminate the victim, refuting the testimony of the victims, and engaging in various activities to defend the innocence of the people involved. Case files. The case files, which were ordered to be disclosed as part of Maxwell's 2015 lawsuit, were made public after U.S. District Judge Loretta Preska's decision. Giuffre's lawsuit against Maxwell was finalized in 2017, but the case files were made public in 2020, 2021, and 2022, with the first 2,000 pages in 2019. The files, which were made public in 2023 following Preska's decision, had previously been withheld due to the privacy rights of the victims and the accused. The case files provide the public with details about the people involved: Prince Andrew, the brother of Britain's King, Charles III, who was involved in the events and whose name was mentioned many times in the case files that U.S. District Judge Loretta Preska decided to make public, was accused of sexual harassment by Johanna Sjoberg, one of the victims in these files. Prince Andrew had denied the veracity of Sjoberg's testimony that she was harassed by the prince in Epstein's Manhattan apartment in 2001. In the filing, the plaintiff and victim, Virginia Giuffre, alleged that when she was 17 years old, she quit her job at former U.S. President Donald Trump's spa and was tricked into becoming Epstein's masseuse, and that Epstein molested her and several other minors in various locations in Florida, New York, the Virgin Islands, and New Mexico. Former Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz was also named in the files, accused of sexual harassment by Virginia Roberts, Giuffre. Dershowitz and Maxwell denied the allegation. In his testimony in the case files, Giuffre stated that he was forced to have relations with Dershowitz, Jean-Luc Brunel, who was found dead in Paris prison during his detention in 2022, a prime minister, U.S. politicians, and world leaders. Giuffre also said that former U.S. Vice President Al Gore and George Mitchell, a senator under former President Barack Obama, were friends of Epstein and frequently visited his home in New York. The court filings also included an email in which Epstein asked Maxwell to offer money to Giuffre's family and friends to refute allegations that he monitored the sexual misconduct activities of scientist Stephen Hawking. Giuffre's Clinton allegations. One of the statements in the filings included an allegation that former U.S. President Bill Clinton threatened Vanity Fair magazine not to publish an article about Epstein's prostitution network. In the same filing, the plaintiff Giuffre also claimed that Clinton knew in detail about Epstein's prostitution network and traveled with him on several occasions. Clinton's representatives had argued that the former president had no knowledge of Epstein's crimes. Prince Andrew would stay with us for weeks. Epstein's former employee, Juan Alessi, stated that Prince Andrew frequently visited Epstein's home in Florida and said, "Prince Andrew would stay with us for weeks." Stating that Andrew's wife, Sarah Ferguson, also visited the house, Alessi said that the prince received massage services every day. When asked about Trump, Alessi stated that he visited the house but did not stay overnight and did not receive massage services. In addition to these names, former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, The Simpsons creator Matt Groening, actor Kevin Spacey, singer Michael Jackson, illusionist David Copperfield, and former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson were also included in the case files. Epstein, allegedly a Mossad agent speaking to RT International in 2020, former Israeli intelligence officer Ari Ben-Menashe claimed that Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert Maxwell, and Epstein were Israeli agents and that all of these scandals were done for the Mossad to gather information and blackmail celebrities. Menashe also claimed that Prince Andrew was tricked and used to bring celebrities to Epstein, and that former Israeli Prime Minister Barak was aware of the events. Recalling that former Labor Minister Alexander Acosta said that Epstein was working for intelligence, Ben-Menashe stated that this intelligence was for Israel. Finally, Ben-Menashe claimed that he had been to the facility where Epstein was staying and that it was impossible for someone to kill himself there. That's it for the Epstein case. On Wednesday, I will talk about the war between Israel and Palestine. Until then, take care and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like my video.